الحمد لله رب العالمين وبه نستعين على أمور الدنيا والدين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وتابعين. All praises to Allah, the Lord of the universe, who has given me a chance to be able to speak with you and address you and tell you things that I tell myself all the time. You know, this morning, 50,000 flights took it to the skies. These flights were carrying more than 3 million people. Allah had given them permission to go up above the clouds and to get to their destination safe and sound. 3 million people. I know on one of those planes, a father who had not seen his son for so long finally had gotten a chance to go and see him. I know on one of those planes, a mother who had not seen her daughter, her son, finally had a chance to see him or her after a 20-year, 15-year, 30-year absence. I know on one of those planes, a friend was on his way to see another friend. So praises to Allah, who had given all these 3 million people a safe passage through the clouds to their places of destination. As the poet said, إِذَا لَمْ تَجْمَعَنَا الْأَيَّامُ جَمَعْتَنَا الذِّكْرِيَاتِ. He said, if the days of the world separate us, if the days of the world take us apart, if for whatever reason you're on one side of the ocean and I happen to be on the other side, if the circumstances of life, if distance, if the national borders of the world, if anything takes us apart from each other, even though we would have liked to be together, إِذَا لَمْ تَجْمَعَنَا الْأَيَّامُ جَمَعْتَنَا الذِّكْرِيَاتِ. Remember that my thinking of you is always going to be there and never absent. I can think of you as much as I want, even if I'm far away from you. وَإِذَا الْعَيْنُ لَمْ تَرَأَكَ. And if my eye does not see you, as much as I would have liked it to find delight in seeing you. A son says that to his mother, a husband says that to his wife, a wife says that to her husband, a daughter says that to her mother, a good friend says to his good friend, a neighbor says to another friend, وَإِذَا الْعَيْنُ لَمْ تَرَاكَ. And if the eye does not see you for whatever reason, because you're so far away, or because you're dead and long gone, فَالْقَلْبُ لَنْ يَنْسَاكَ. Remember that my heart shall forever remember you. The memories I have of you, the great times that we had spent together during the course of our lives, all of these things are going to be present in my heart. Allah says in the Quran, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Which of the blessings of Allah is it that you deny? Is it that you woke up safe and sound this morning? Is it that you're able to know how your mother looks like, how your father looks like? Do you not know that millions of people across the world never had a chance to actually know how it was that their mother used to talk, that their mother used to walk, what their mothers used to like, what their mothers used to not like, because chance had never given them the great luxury. Time had never given them the great luxury to be able to see who their mothers were. Is it that you go to school safe and sound, in absolute security? Is it that you had something to eat this morning, and that you don't have to worry about what you're going to eat in the next 2 hours and tonight? فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Which of these blessings is it that you take for granted? You know, in today's world, about 75% of the world's people, 75% of 7 billion people in the world, make less than $2 a day. If you are part of that small remaining percent and you make more than $2 a day, then you are part of the wealthiest part of humanity. Is it that you take for granted? You know, there's so many things that we don't think enough about. There's so many things that we're not grateful for. And I say that to myself and to all of you and to human beings in general. You know, I once met a man in one of the cities here in North America who had told me that Allah had blessed him with 21 kids. And I was so happy for him. And I said, congrats, mashallah. Allah has been very kind to you. And after small talk, he said, Brother Muhammad, there's another part of my story that I have yet to tell you. And I said, what would that be? He said, when you look at me, what is it that you see? And I said, I see an old Muslim brother. The brother was from China, as he told me. And he said, Allah had given me 21 kids. But would you believe me if I told you that I had used my bare hand to bury every one of my 21 kids? He said, I remember the day when I had lost my 15th child. I remember going to the grave, coming back from the burial, and saying to myself, I may have lost 15, but I've got 6 more. He said, then I had lost the 16th. And I remember coming back from the burial and saying to myself, I may have lost 16, but I've got 5 more. And then he said the 17th, and then the 18th, and then the 19th, and then the 20th. And then he said, I lost my wife. And then he said, I had never felt more lonely my entire life than the day I had lost my 21st child. Because I knew on that day I would come back home and there would be no one to open the door for me. He said, at some point in time, I used to be the envy of town. People used to speak about how big and large my family was, how connected we were to each other, how we used to take care of each other, how we would go to places together. And he said, Brother Muhammad, Shaitan sometimes tries to play with my emotions. Shaitan tries to play with my mind, with my intelligence. Because he said, at times I see myself saying, I wish Allah had done this to me when I was much younger. Today, at the age of 80, I can hardly get up for my own good. I wish this had happened to me when I was 40 and 50 or even 60, because then I was able to work for myself. And I said, brother, his name was Ali. I said, Brother Ali, how is it that someone like you who had lost so much, how is it that you sustain some sort of living on earth? How is it that you're still coming to the masjid, mashallah? You're a very faithful and a very good Muslim. How is it that you're able to do this? He said, Brother Muhammad, I stay with two of my grandsons. One is 14, one is 16. In our house, he said, my room is at the basement. They stay upstairs. Every morning, as they're coming down the stairs, I hear their steps. And when I hear that sound, I say to myself, I may have lost 21 kids plus my wife in this world. I may have used my hand to bury all of them. I may have seen pretty much the demise of my entire family. But he said, I come to realize that I still have some left. And I say to myself, the sons of my sons are also my sons. And I think about all the things that they're on their way to as I hear their steps coming down the stairs. I know they're going to school. I know they're going to be hanging out with friends. I know they're going to be eating. I know they're going to be laughing. I know they're going to be happy. He said, if I don't have those things, I try to generate my joy from the joy of my two young grandsons. Allahu Akbar. Brothers and sisters, so then don't you take what you have for granted. There are billions of people and millions of people that are going through hardship, that are going through pain, that are going through adversity. We don't hear their stories. Some of them are too shy to come up to us and tell us. Some of them are too far for us to know anything about. Some of them just don't want to share. Some of them we may know, but we ignore them. If there's anyone going through pain, hardship of some kind, if hard times in life had befallen someone, try your very best to be out there for them, to take care of them, to tell them a good word. Sometimes it's not all about giving. You don't have to give money every time. You don't have to be a prime minister. You don't have to be a king. Saying a good word to someone in need. When you visit someone at the hospital, you go to them, and number one, you realize and recognize the blessing that you have, that you're healthy, that you went there on your own without the support of anyone, that you drove there, that you had something to eat, that you had something to drink, that you're going to see someone who can't even get up. When you go to them, the Prophet ﷺ told us, say this to them. Tell them that you're going to be able to make it. Tell them, brother, don't worry, I'll see you back at your house in 2 weeks. I'll see you at the masjid in 4 weeks. I'll see you with your family in a couple of weeks. He said, because the Prophet ﷺ said, that is not going to change the divine decree of Allah, but it's going to enlighten and put delight in the heart of that sick brother or sister. See? You're not doing anything wrong. You're not coming against the divine decree of Allah, but you're trying to instill hope in the heart of this ailing and ill, sick brother or sister. Say a good word to him. That's what life is all about, my friends. There are going to be plenty of chances in life that you will not only be able to not take your blessings for granted, but that you may very well be able to remind others to not take their blessings for granted. You know the story of that one man, the 3 men who were stuck in that cave, and it rained so hard, and the opening of the cave was closed up by a big rock. And they said we should each remember a story, something that we have done at some point in time in our lives that we've purely done for the sake of Allah and to make whoever else involved in the story happy. And one of the men said, he said, Allahumma inni kana li ujaraha. He said, oh Allah, I used to have people work for me. I used to have employees. And these people, فَأَعْطَيْتُهُمْ حَقَّهُمْ, and these people, I would give them everything that they earn. When it's time for their pay, they would come and I would give it to them. I had never gone out of my way to try to deceive them or keep money that did not belong to me. غَيْرَ رَجُلٍ وَاحِدٍ, except for one man. He said when it was time to collect money, this man never showed up. I had his money. I did everything in the book to look for him. I had people look for him. Every search, every try was all in vain. And when I had his money in front of me, he said, "Oh Allah, I was going through some hard times myself. My business was about to fail." And I said to myself one of four scenarios. Number one, should I take his money? Number two, should I take his money and use it for me, invest in that money for me, for my own benefit? Number three, should I leave his money, just forget it, maybe he'll come back one day and take it? Number four, should I take his money and use it for him, invest it for him, and multiply it for him? He said, "Allah, I chose to do number four because I wanted to make him happy, because I know that I was going through hard times myself, and that brother may very well have been going through hard times himself. And I'm sure that he had left his money not because he wanted to, but some circumstance of life may have driven him to do so." And he said, "Oh Allah, because I wanted to do the right thing, because I wanted to make that man happy, because I wanted to not take that which was not mine, I chose to not only leave his money, but I chose to work with that money, to invest in that money, to multiply it for him. And should he come back one day, give him more than what he had left." He said, "Allah, many years later the man came back. And he came to me and he said, 'Sir, you may not remember me, but you owe me money. I had left money here years and years ago. If you don't remember me, it's understandable, I understand. But it's pain and desperation and hardship of life that brought me back here. If you do remember me, please be so kind and give me the money that you owe me.' And the man told him, 'كُلُّ مَا تَرَى مِنَ الْإِبِلِ وَالْبَغَرِ وَالْغَنَمِ مِنْ أَجْرِكَ.' He said, look out to the field, look at the grazing lands around me. You see the sheep and the cattle, you see the herd, you see everything in that field belongs to you." And the man says, "Please don't play with my emotions. I had left a few dollars with you years ago. There is no way all of this can be mine." And the brother says, "You know, when you had left, I could have taken your money. I was going through some hard times myself. But I chose not to. I chose to make you happy because I knew that one day you would come back, and I knew that life is the same for all of us. I go through hard times, you go through hard times. So brother, I'm not playing with your emotions. I'm not playing with you. I'm not telling you a lie. I'm not telling you something that's not real. Everything that you see around me is yours because I took your money and I invested in it. And today I'm so happy that you came back because I wanted to do the right thing simply because it was the right thing to do. And Allah may very well make me happy because I chose to make you happy." And the man takes his wealth and leaves. And this man says, stuck in the cave, he said, "Oh Allah, if I have done that which I have done for your sake, oh Allah, get us out of here safe and sound." The rock opens, the three of them come out, and they go back to their respective homes in peace and absolute security. And so, as I was saying, there are going to be some times in life that we will face some troubles and some challenges that may make us forget what we have. We're human beings for that. There are going to be some good days, and there are going to be some bad days. There are going to be days when you're happy, and there are going to be days when you're sad. It's a fact of life, and we accept it as such. There are going to be some things that you're going to be so overly delighted with, and there are going to be some things that you will come across during the course of your life, and you will say, how is it possible that a human being, a Muslim, can do this to another Muslim? How is it that poverty could tear up the lives of so many billions of people across the world? We will see all of these things. That's part of life. That's natural. But don't you ever take any blessing that you have for granted. Be happy that you have what you have. Be happy not only for what you have, but also what you don't have. Because Allah very well knows that it is for your own benefit and interest that you don't have what you don't have. If you get a chance to remind others to be grateful for what they have, be grateful yourself for what you have. لَإِن شَكَرْتُمْ لَأَزِيدَنَّكُمْ. And I'll close it with the verse that I opened with, فَبِأَيِّ آلَاءِ رَبِّكُمَا تُكَذِّبَانِ. Which of the blessings that Allah had bestowed upon you is it that you take for granted? Try not to take any for granted. I'll do the same. May Allah bless you, prosper your families, and grant to all of you your wishes and make them all good for you in this life and in the world to come. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.